We're finally live. Sorry, guys. We had technical difficulties as always. Max and us in the house to spec me, daddy. All right, let's expect. What up, Mike? Good to see you, man. Win webinar. Right now, I suppose. Right now. All right, guys. So I got Cody over here from Cloudology, our resident. What would you say instead of just the cloud? Like, how could you translate what you specify and your knowledge with this topic?
I guess resident Google fanboy because I build everything in Google Cloud. So
You're way more knowledgeable about infrastructure than I am, though. I will say. So
I hope so. That's my whole job.
For real. So, guys, there's been some weird stuff going on with some proposals. Well, I wouldn't say the proposals yet. Like, from my understanding, and Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a GitHub repo published from people who appear to be engineers at Google, and there's some kind of like funky stuff on there that is a little bit questionable to, I would say, just your general autonomy and integrity as an autonomous individual wanting to use the internet for whatever you want to use it for. Honestly, I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to use it for like. And before I get any further with what I'm about to say, you know what really pissed me off, Cody? Like, one thing that people are like, why does it matter if like the NSA harvests mass metadata on everything you do? If you're not doing anything wrong, then what's wrong with it? Like, well, number one, it's kind of like if someone is like intruding upon your life and you don't want them there, right? It's like it makes you feel uncomfortable. And it's like, what are you doing? So just the feeling of it, number one, makes it weird, right? Just the fact that the government might be watching you is kind of like, why do you need to do that?
Even these companies that might be watching you is it's like having a neighbor in your house at all times, just watching everything you do, except on a level to like none other. They have every ounce of data on you. They targeted ads, everything is designed for you to like basically give them every aspect of your life, everything you like, everything you dislike, everything you agree with, everything you disagree with. That's the extent of metadata that these companies have and are giving and are selling to other people, including the government.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just
so
not a good look.
That's one part. Yeah, it's not a good look, right? But the second part that really bothers me, and people don't even think about this part. So can you think of anything that is like legal today that was illegal years ago? Like, I don't know, marijuana, alcohol. Is there things that were legal years ago and are now illegal? Like heroin, cocaine, right?
Yeah.
So who's to say that something that you're doing perfectly legal can become illegal 20 years from now? And who's to say that like whatever current political regime, maybe regime's not the right word to use, but whatever political like architecture of your country currently. So we have a democracy apparently, right? Supposedly, allegedly. Who's to say in 20 years from now that it's going to be different? Have we never seen that in history? So who's to say that if all those things could possibly be different, if it's within the realm of possibility for that to be different 20 years from now, and those same people have access to that data, and they found out that you were live streaming on YouTube, and that's now like 20 years from now, that's a sin, right? That's like you literally go to Gitmo for doing that. They find out, and then they jail you for it. Like,
and even if they don't jail you for it, they could ruin your entire life. They can make it so you can't work anywhere ever again. They can make it so you can't access any bank ever again. Anything. And like you dream it, they can probably do it because, you know, people are like, oh, but the statute of limitations. I'm like, well, first off, who's to say that's even going to be a thing?
Yeah, exactly.
In the future. And second off, they can do other things other than throw you in jail. They can just basically cut you off from the system. You know what I mean? Which, you know, I mean, you could probably get along on your own, but it's going to be a rough transition if you're not already like going down that path to begin with. Right. So it's not a good thing. And, you know, Google is back up to its usual shenanigans, where it is trying to basically influence the internet because it's kind of, in my opinion, I feel like it's them running out of market share or running out of basically becoming irrelevant as things go on. And I guess to segue into the point of this whole thing, which I wanted to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, so I've been looking into this whole thing for as long as I've known about it, pretty much. And I don't know if I can present on your screen.
Can you try? Because I don't know if you can. But I have the article.
I think I can. Yeah, I think you just have to add it to the stream. Yeah. So this is the article that they were referencing. And actually, in all fairness, I got the TLDR from this from the Prime Time on YouTube. Usually like streams on Twitch, but he kind of like broke it down and gave his opinions on it, which I fundamentally agree with. So essentially, we're unpacking Google's new dangerous web environment integrity specification. And I could sit here and read the article to you guys, but I'd rather just like leave that article in the description. But essentially, what web environment integrity means is they're trying to verify the source of where web traffic is coming from. So they're trying to essentially have a validation or a limited number of web browsers, in this case, that will allow content to be delivered to you, right? So essentially what that means is you will have the three major companies right now, so Google, Microsoft, and Apple, that are mentioned in this article, will be in charge of saying what browsers are allowed to take you to certain places or even just function in general, right? So basically, they want to control the internet, and Google is the one that kind of like is pushing the issue. I don't know if they came up with the idea specifically, but they're the ones that are already trying to implement it. So essentially, they're not trying to, consult anybody or think about it. They're trying to jump on the market right now before any other company gets involved, right? So that's not a good thing. So we can assume that Microsoft is probably going to use Microsoft Edge as their verified browser, and Google is going to use Chrome, obviously, and Google Play Store and stuff like that. So no more like you can't download apps from anywhere but the Play Store. So if you're an Android user like myself, trying to download any unapproved apps or maybe apps you developed yourself is not going to be possible in the future.
We don't know yet, right? But
yeah, this is a proposal, but the way they're going about it is they're essentially trying to enforce the proposal in all Chromium-based browsers right now,
which is
everything. They're laying, and they're laying the pipeline for it. So pretty much everything runs on a Chromium-based browser. I think even except for like Mozilla, I think Mozilla is like the only one that doesn't right now, and like Safari and stuff like that. But
dude, I think even Mozilla and Safari run on Chromium now.
Do they? Oh, dude.
I think so.
Bad. That's bad. And I like how Spark 55 said Tor is the way. How would you even get to it? I mean, you could use Tor browser, of course, but I think.
How are you going to download it?
Yeah, how are you going to download it? How are you going to download Tor browser?
Yeah, dude, that's a good question. What up, Alex? Good to see you, man. You too, Wade. Kyle says it's already weird enough that Zuckerberg knows when he poops. Yep. Kyle W. Then there's the one where Amazon locked a guy out of his smart home because the delivery guy thought the quote "you were being recorded" audio was Mark. Wait, what?
Yeah, I heard about that.
I didn't.
I guess this guy had like a doorbell or whatever, or a camera that notified the person that they were being recorded, and the delivery guy was like, "That's racist," and then they locked him out of his smart home.
Dear God.
We're living in the dystopian future, guys. If you're not aware,
it's 1984, but 2023. You know what I mean? Black sheep in the house. Everybody watching, go smash the like button. Yes, please. Tor is the way. Chris, howdy, good to see you, man. Tor smuggling like in China or GitHub. I mean, I guess you could like.
Microsoft owns GitHub, so that's out. unless you can get the source code, but
Yeah, we're gonna be fooked, dude. We're gonna be fooked. Alex says, is there Microsoft developing their own chipset that might block other OS installs?
You mean Intel? Maybe. Does Microsoft own Intel? I think they're their own company still.
Who owns? I mean, doesn't Intel own Intel? Doesn't Uh, Institutional investors hold a majority ownership in INTC through 63.97% of the outstanding shares they control. Blah, blah, blah. Who's the owner of Intel Company? I guess it's just 63%
Intel.
shares are owned by different. Dude, it's probably like, dude, for all we know, like some like subsidiary of like Microsoft.
Yeah.
Bill Gates owns like those 63% of the shares. Who even knows? Kyle says you already have to input a command to be able to create a local account when you install Windows now. No way, really?
Man.
Since when? Since what? Since which version of Windows? Is Windows 10? Max says the only spec I need is a DDS spec. Hell yeah, dude. Pray melee. Well, dude, I don't think we might have to pray range from this, dude. I don't even know if we could pray melee from that, my
Right.
dude.
And we didn't even get to the worst of it. So let's say you have all of these, browsers like Safari, Edge, Google Chromium. What about Linux? Linux doesn't have a browser that they run off. You can run off of any. They have a Chromium based browser essentially.
Yeah.
You can download Chromium for Linux, but they don't have like their own Linux as an entity. If it even is considered an entity anymore, it doesn't have their own browser. So basically, this is cutting Linux out of the market share entirely. Which
that's what they want to do.
Most sketchy things are done on Linux, I'll admit, but I mean, I like Linux. I don't want Linux to go anywhere. So
the option to have it is I mean, dude, it's like saying you can only use one telecom company, and that telecom company is the largest owned one that might be selling your data. If that's true, that's a good point that you make, right? And what Alex said here, if Microsoft developing their own chipset that could block other OS installs, then like even if you could like hand somebody a disk copy of like a Linux boot, and then you physically couldn't
even you couldn't wipe your Microsoft computer anymore.
Yeah, dude. Because what computers do people install Linux on? Like pretty much anything that comes with boots up with Microsoft, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That would be really weird. So 55 says he thinks Windows 11. Okay, I haven't been a Windows user after Windows 10. He also says, well, Tails has Tor, I'm pretty sure, so it's kind of a bypass. We have to spread like the internet used to work. What do you mean by this? Well, Tails has Tor? Comes with
I'm not sure who Tails is, but
I think Tails is a like Linux flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. Does it come with Tor, Spark? Let me let us know
in the chat. Yeah.
God now says, now I know why I really like so much. Yeah, he's always right in the end, dude.
Source.
He's always right in the end, but
yeah.
Okay, so what else do you think is important to note about what they're talking about in this article, man?
Well, so some people might be like, well, let's just refuse it. And, again, that's not necessarily possible when pretty much everything runs off of Google, dude. Like it's kind of scary the amount that runs off of Google. So essentially Google is trying to revamp their AdSense basically. So they're trying to like, oh, let's make sure all of your data comes from verified sources, right? But really it's just a strong arm into only being able to use Google for AdSense because Google's losing money, guys. I think last year was the first profitable year for Google Cloud Platform. And the margin was not great. They basically just broke even over top of it. And every other Google service is pretty much unprofitable. So the way Google makes money is through their ads and now through Google Cloud Platform. And that's pretty much it, which is why they're so aggressively pushing implements like this, is because they're quickly becoming irrelevant thanks to like OpenAI, which is now probably, well, ChatGPT is owned by Microsoft. I don't know if OpenAI as a company is owned by Microsoft, but essentially this is going to consolidate the web even more into, essentially Google, Apple, and Microsoft, which obviously is bad for a reason. And an important note, this is not all doom and gloom. Apparently, there's a law in the EU that would essentially prevent this, because essentially they're trying to disallow a small amount of companies owning like a huge amount of the the internet and power. And since we use the internet pretty much extensively, you can't live without the internet in today's day and age. I mean, you can, but like, be realistic, like you pretty much can. So that's one EU law that might block it. But again, I mean, laws can change at any point in time with the right amount of political pressure and the right amount of money, right? So, granted, and here's the thing they point out as well, is that usually judicial processes are pretty slow, as we all know. And the problem with Google trying, or at least writing the code to implement this, is they don't plan on asking for permission. They just plan on doing it. So, we could potentially see years of this happening before some government somewhere decides like, hey, you guys can't do that. But I mean, by that time, it's kind of like it's already implemented. You know what I mean? And by that time, I mean, they could figure out how to basically legally loophole it to do the same thing. So yeah, it's not great. It's not looking great out here, bros. But
Spark says, also, wouldn't Microsoft be doing that through BIOS chips?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he said, yeah, Tails includes some Tor. So I'm assuming what he's saying is that when you boot up Tails, it's got Tor already installed on it. It also wipes itself off the PC if you disconnect the USB. Okay, so you literally can boot it with the stick, and then you're good to go. Okay, well, I mean, I'm sure if they're going to do something to prevent you to install stuff on like a chip at a chip, they'll prevent you from doing that too, right? I mean, I would assume so.
I mean, trust me, if they're going to this length to block which browsers you can use to authorize or attested browsers only, they know about Tor, and they're absolutely going to find ways where you can't use Tor. Well, at least the average everyday person. I'm sure there's always a way to use it, but it's not going to become, well, not that it's mainstream now, but it's not going to become as well known and user friendly. You're going to have to think of some creative ways to get around some of this stuff. And, I don't necessarily think everybody has the technical ability to do that. Nor do most people care to learn. So,
yeah. And most people they probably wouldn't be able to like learn how to do that, dude. Some people can, I mean, most people like just know how to do what? Like go on the internet, check their email, use Excel maybe. Max Anita says, I thought Microsoft doesn't technically own ChatGPT. Doesn't Microsoft give OpenAI a lot of freedom? Don't they literally own ChatGPT?
I'm pretty sure they do. I think they bought it for like $10 billion and then laid off like 20% of their workforce, or like 15% of their workforce.
Just use this thing to like replace the developers from it,
right?
But except now it sucks, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I should have
surprise. Microsoft got it, and now it sucks. Yeah. Weird. That's never happened before.
Dude, I wish I did it like a year ago, not a year ago, maybe like half a year ago, whenever ChatGPT was like, oh my God, ChatGPT, when it's actually working pretty good. They were kind of trying to get us hooked on it.
Yeah.
I wish I did a more in-depth stream on like the quality of the responses that it gave, because it's not the same, dude.
No, it's very bad.
Alex says, Microsoft rumored working on AI chip to challenge NVIDIA and AWS. I didn't know that. Tells has been making its own AI chips too. No, did not know that, but I'm not surprised. Like a GPU. Not sure what the exact chips are, but supposedly work with ChatGPT. God, please no. I thought Microsoft bought a stake, but maybe not majority stake. OpenAI is a capped profit organization. Okay. Well, then Microsoft, like what? Well, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
They've got to be a majority of the shares then, because 10 billion is not a number to just like, oh yeah, it's just 10 billion.
Yeah, I mean, it was big news, dude. Well, if they if they want to challenge NVIDIA, getting better than DLL S3 and 4 will be tough. Perhaps. Dude, you want to take a look at the GitHub article or the GitHub repo?
Yeah, I'll unshare my screen.
Okay. I got the GitHub repo. All right, so here's the actual repo itself, and the link was in the article. I know, dude. No dark theme background. Don't ask me why.
Dude, he's a psychopath.
I know, dude.
Look out, everybody.
My eyes are hurting now, dude. I got to change this, man. Hold on a second. Where do I go in GitHub settings?
I don't even know.
There should be a moon switch, bro.
No, Microsoft owns it, dude. You already know. They try to make things as not user friendly as possible.
Remember when GitHub was less complicated? appearance.
But everything is owned by BlackRock anyway. You're not wrong.
Who said that? Who said that?
Alex.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, deactivate. No, don't sync the system. Do the single theme. Let's do dark. What is dark? Tritanopia. Dark Tritanopia. All right.
There we go. Much better.
Much better, my friends. Now, where is the actual repo? It's right here. Okay. All right. So I wonder if there's anything in here. Let's just check the README file out. Okay. So introduction. Users often depend on websites trusting the client environment they run in. This trust may assume that the client environment is honest about certain aspects of itself, keeps user data and intellectual property secure, and is transparent about whether or not a human is using it. This trust is the backbone of the open internet, critical for the safety of user data and for the sustainability. There we go. We got our word right there. Of the website's business. Okay, what do you think about this first paragraph for the introduction of the README? You feel like kind of setting up to give a certain vibe?
Yeah, dude, for sure. I mean, again, this is all about making us into basically data cattle, dude, and just being able to profit off of our data and information. Because again, these companies are hemorrhaging money right now, and they realize what they're doing is not sustainable. So they either got to force their hand or innovate. And honestly, I don't think innovation is possible anymore by these big tech companies anymore, because they're just so like antiquated now. You know, they're focused on everything else. You know, they're focused so much on control that they forgot about the innovation portion of everything, which is why you see companies like Microsoft, you know, doing a $10 billion stake into OpenAI, because that's like the new hottest now, you know. But you know,
well, and their proposal is sustainable, bro. Don't you understand?
Yeah,
and
sustainability,
sustainability, and for your safety, bro. Come on,
yeah.
Don't you know that like those masks that we had to wear, that was for your safety, and it was also sustainable for the environment. Don't forget, right?
Yeah, just like just like some other medical advice that
lots of stuff in the last few years
is currently developing to not a great situation.
We'll have to leave that to people's imagination.
Yeah.
Some examples of scenarios where users depend on client trust include users like visiting websites that are expensive to create and maintain, but they often want or need to do it.
There it is.
Directly. What do you think about this? What do you think about the single-site coding?
Yeah, because essentially they can't afford their own infrastructure anymore. So here's a thing that I think it's either AWS or Google, but I think it might be AWS, are now charging for IP addresses now. So essentially they're trying to scale down the amount of infrastructure they have because they physically can't afford it. They're hemorrhaging money off of public cloud, which how, I don't know. I think it's a balance between trying to keep people from using their own data centers or their own servers or colos or anything like that, and still using their platform. Because if cloud becomes so expensive to enterprise customers to the point where it's like, wait, why don't we just acquire our own equipment and run in a data center ourselves? Then they lose even more profit margin, essentially, because they don't make money off the little guy. They make money off of enterprise level, basically enterprise level companies or mid-level companies that don't understand that they could do a lot cheaper if they just bought their own equipment, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep those enterprise level companies from going back to on-premises or colos or something like that. Because then they're done. Like that's the only profitable business that Amazon and Google really have anymore. Microsoft, I don't know, to be honest, to be frank, I don't think Azure is all that profitable. But they do have contracts with the government, so you know that's pretty much a money printer right there.
These websites fund themselves with ads, but the advertisers can only afford to pay for humans to see the ads rather than robots. This creates a need for human users to prove to websites that they're human, sometimes through tasks like challenges or logins. So, i.e., Anytime you
Captchas.
have captchas, which you're also like training AI every time you do that too.
Yep.
Users want to know they're interacting with real people on social websites, but bad actors often want to promote posts with fake engagement. For example, to promote products, make a news story seem more important, blah, blah, blah. Websites can only show users what content is popular with people if websites are able to know the difference between a trusted and untrusted environment. Users playing a game on a website want to know whether other players are using software that enforces the game's rules. I mean, this wasn't really a problem until like a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, I just that last bullet I just find funny because they're the ones that facilitated that economy. So basically, they created their own problem, and now they're fixing their own problem. They created the monster, and now they're trying to sell you guys the cure, essentially. Well, except not sell; they're trying to force the cure on you. Kind of like something else that happened recently in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of sounds like a familiar kind of like scheme. I think we all forgot about. Oh well, I can't remember it. Users sometimes get tricked into installing malicious software that imitates software like their banking applications.
Oh, that's a key sentence. That's a key word right there.
Okay, well, hold on. Users don't like to steal from those users. The bank's internet interface could protect those users if they could establish its request. Wait, but what they don't
protect.
They're not actually like if that happens. So if they get tricked into installing malicious software imitating their bank account, they're not logging in. It's not like the bank account website or the banking application is hacked. They're logging into something that is fake, and it doesn't actually like take over the bank app itself. What they do is then on the back end, then they actually get like the information, like the hackers get the information after the user thought they were logging in, and then the hackers go into the actual banking application and sign in for them, right?
Yeah, essentially, that bullet is them saying the quiet part out loud. They're trying to essentially be the middleman between you and your bank. Probably laying the seed for what Spark 55 was talking about in the chat. But
just now,
that's a conspiracy theory, of course.
All right, let me get cut.
Of course, we don't. Of course, we don't believe that.
Yeah, we don't do conspiracy theories on this channel.
No,
of course not. Yeah, everything's owned by Black people, right? Yes. What up, Chris Soto? Let's go. Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Big companies prioritize survival above all else.
Yes, they're just playing not to lose.
They're just playing not to lose. Yeah. Spark 55 says, well, if they want to implement their CBDCs and chips and people, they kind of need a centralized cloud infrastructure.
Weird.
You don't say.
Weird.
A little weird. That's a little weird.
I'm even a cloud guy, and I think that's weird.
Yeah. What are we gonna do, dude? Just kidding. It's never gonna happen, right? Jawad says, "What's up, everyone? Sorry late about that. You good, homie? You good? It's for your own good trademark. Yeah, dude. Yeah. The trust relationship between websites and clients is frequently established through the collection and interpretation of highly re-identifiable information. How is it re-identifiable? I mean, if it's already identifiable, well, never mind. Actually, I serve myself incorrected. However, the signals that are considered essential for these safety use can cause also severe and a near unique fingerprint that can be used to track users across sites without their knowledge or control.
Kind of like they want to do. Basically, they just want to be the ones to do it. Not those bad actors.
Dude, it's kind of like lame to even word it like that, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah.
at least do what you did the first like paragraph and try to make it seem like it's about the sustainable.
Like it's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah. We would like to explore whether a low entropy mechanism, web environment integrity. So they're going to call it what, WEI?
Yeah. Way. That's pretty funny.
WEI.
That's pretty funny.
Could help address these use cases with better privacy respecting properties. All right, so let's see what web environment integrity is, guys. With the web environment integrity API trademark, websites will be able to request a token that attests key facts about the environment their client code is running in. For example, this API will show that a user is operating a web client on a secure Android device. Tampering with the attestation will be prevented by signing the tokens cryptographically. Websites will ultimately decide if they trust the verdict returned by the attester. So each individual website, can they have their own criteria for what they're going to trust?
Well, that's where the attesters come in. So the attesters are the approving authority essentially on what browsers are trusted essentially, and what content on the internet is trusted. So you can kind of think of this. I'm assuming, I don't know. You can kind of think of it like a JWT, but kind of on steroids. An AES, probably 256 encrypted JWT that handles authentication between whatever content you're consuming. So imagine like you go to a website that requires a login, right? You don't have to log in every time you switch pages, right? And the reason why that is because typically there's some kind of credential that represents you that is like, hey, I'm still here, I'm logged in, don't log me out. And that's kind of like what a JWT is, or like cookies, site cookies, stuff like that. So I'm assuming this is going to be a similar thing, except maybe at a exponential level to what a JWT is. But
yikes, dude. Kind of yikes. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see this actually like going down, dude. It is expected that the attesters will typically come from the operating system platform as a matter of practicality. However, this explanation does not prescribe that. For example, multiple operating systems may choose to use the same attester.
So that's basically them saying like, oh yeah, this is totally optional and you don't have to do that. Meanwhile, all the big companies are implementing it already.
Yeah, that's kind of like the vibe you're gonna get. Yeah. There is a tension between utility for anti-fraud use cases requiring deterministic verdicts and high coverage, and the risk of websites using this functionality to exclude specific attesters. Blah blah. We look forward to discussing the topic. So the goals: allow web servers to evaluate authenticity of the device and honest representation of the software stack and the traffic from the device. Offer an robust and long-term sustainable anti-abuse solution. Don't enable new cross-site user tracking capabilities through attestation, and to continue to allow web browsers to browse web without attestation. Non-goals: enable reliable client-side validation verdicts. So signatures must be validated server-side, as client JavaScript may be modified to alter the validation result. Enforce or interfere with browser functionality, including plugins and extensions, and access this functionality from non-secured context. What are they saying that this is? Let me see this real quick. Okay. Use cases, how it works. You want to see this diagram, Cody?
Oh yeah.
Do you think this is useful?
Diagrams?
Do you
it
think
might be? I can't see it though. I'm blind. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, this kind of hurts my eyes. I mean, so basically we got, let's see, example.com, web client, the attested
website. JavaScript gets sent to the client. Oh well, I guess the get environment by what? Hash? Okay. Okay. So you visit the website, it gets the integrity hash. The integrity token gets sent to the client, and then the JavaScript, I'm assuming, gets sent to the client.
Yeah, JavaScript gets sent to web client.
But that's after the fetch.
Yeah.
And then the response comes back to, okay, I see how that flow works now. Yeah, it's essentially like, it's like a JWT at a backend level instead of like a client level. So that's interesting.
How can I use web environment integrity? These are two steps using it. No thanks. We don't want to be using that right now. How many people? I already have 90 people watching.
Yeah, so I think the concern is like the people that are actually contributors to this. I think one of them, if not both of them, are confirmed Google employees. I think that guy might be, but I don't remember.
Yeah, at Google.
Yeah. So that's the major concern. Basically, again, Google is trying to look at that face. What is he wearing?
Yeah. Dude,
It's a little earpiece.
it looks like he's an AI bot.
He does. It looks like he's do you remember that website? Like these people, or like this person's not real.com or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Let's see what else this dude's been working on. Popular repos. Sizer Sows. What is it
Dude,
called?
look at that commit history, bro. I'm jealous.
Yeah. He looks like he purposely try to like put some braille in there or something.
No, he would never. People don't do that.
What is the cost of your non-responsive images? Oh, okay. Blink, an unofficial mirror for Chromium's Blink with experimental branches. Relapse image web core. Okay, he likes it. He's kind of responsive progressive JPEG tests. Cache digest cuckoo. Responsive image container. Figure out how a responsive image would format you would like. It seems like this dude's hefty into web development. All right, what about the other dude in here? Backhot. I don't see Google.
Nope.
Shape security. Shape and ease.
I don't know what that is. Shape security. I don't know.
Neither.
I am not sure.
This is only 2 contributors here?
Yeah, it's just him and this guy.
Okay.
Wait, when does that date back to? Is that 2020? Oh no, 2023. April of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so looks like they didn't start working on it again until the end of July. It's not too long ago.
Yeah. Yep. Convenient. They started that when the economy was not the greatest for tech.
Yeah, that's a little convenient. There's some forks here too. I mean, who knows who those people could be? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Something just like smells kind of wrong about that, Daryl. What do you think?
Yeah, man. It's just like it's typical Google behavior. Like granted, I like their cloud platform, dude, but I don't like Google as a practice. All right. And some of you might say I'm contributing to the problem, and you're probably right by giving Google my money. But god damn it, they make a good cloud platform.
They do.
But yeah, I mean, Google has done stuff like this in the past, right? Remember Google's old motto used to be "Don't be evil," and now they don't have that anymore. So this, or you could even do. You've read that book, Life After Google, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that book kind of like actually really deep dives into Google's practices in general, and how they, they've been trying to control the financial game for quite a long time. This is not anything new, and this is just another stab at that to gain centralized power over pretty much the thing that runs human life as we know it now, which is the internet. So it's
a little sus. Max says it was a wireless mic, and that equates.
Oh.
I'm a developer influencer.
Oh, yeah, he would know. He would know.
He would know. Max would know. Well, guys, I mean, you guys are all welcome to formulate your own opinion on it. I don't know. This just kind of reeks to me like another one of those. Dude, how many of these like things are going to happen in the next?
A lot, dude. A lot.
I'm just starting to ignore it, bro. Like,
yeah. At this point, it's like, well, I mean, me personally, I'm looking at like literally. I was telling Tech Chief the other night that I was looking into home server setups and like setting up my own home network, basically making my own on-prem, just because I don't. Working in cloud doesn't mean I trust it. All right. So just because I'm profiting off of it doesn't mean I trust it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can work in and potentially come to find out that you trust a whole lot less than before.
Yeah, actually working in this field made me trust it even less. So if that is telling you anything, yeah, it's there's a lot of scary shit that happens in the cloud, dude. And just the amount of data people
yeah. No, like everything, all of it now, right?
Everything. Yeah, pretty much. There are companies out there that do have like colo data centers and stuff like that, but it's not anything super. It's not something you would like use. You know what I mean? It's like for corporate nonsense. You know what I mean? It's not like obviously like I'm sure Apple and Meta, and they probably all have like stuff in the cloud and some stuff on a data center, but primarily a lot of their stuff is probably.
I can't imagine any kind of like large website or web application that, let's say they have it in a data center, that isn't running copies of it on a cloud somewhere,
Yeah.
just in case, you know.
A lot of people use it as like disaster recovery or failover or something like that.
Yeah,
A lot of the bigger companies, and then what I noticed is a lot of like mid-level companies. So not quite like enterprise level, but not quite like startup. A lot of them are moving out of the cloud into their own servers, into their own hardware, essentially, because the cloud's just too expensive for them. Like they can get the same, if not better, performance out of their own machinery versus like paying Google to rent a server, essentially. So I think that's why a lot of these cloud platforms, including Google, is kind of they're kind of panicking and doing stuff like this, because that's their main horse, dude. Like they don't really have anything else that's profitable. And like Max Ignita said, like they're playing not to lose at this point.
Yeah. It's part 55 with honestly, the revelation prophecy is coming true. Yeah, dude. Dude.
Yeah, man.
Well, we had to do a whole stream about that, bro. We'd have to do a whole stream about that. Alex says, we hoped open source was going to save us. Oh, well.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of open source out there, but it's getting harder and harder to come by, dude. There's still developers out there that make open source, just because they're like us, and they believe in, and they believe that software should be open source, because honestly, it should be. I can't tell you how many times I've cloned a project from Google and made it work for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's close to what I want, but I needed to do this specific thing.
Yeah, that was the point of the internet, to have all this information to be shared, right?
Yeah, dude.
Another thing too, Alex. Like the good thing is, so we're not in the middle of a bull run, so no one's talking about crypto or Web3, but they've
been building, pretty heavily.
There is an equal amount of money. I mean, who knows? Equal, it might be more or less. It's a fuck ton of money. Also, time, resources, and intelligence going into development of a completely separate type of backbone of the internet. Like in the last 6 months alone, the Bitcoin network has had some substantial upgrades to it that actually have like a pretty big effect on utility for just the network of Bitcoin in general, right? And no one's thinking about it or talking about it. Yeah. So there is good to the other side of it. Like we do still have that positive momentum going in the other direction, but as you can expect, the more that we have momentum in that direction, they're going to probably come the other way and try to keep doing what they're doing too.
Yeah, and there's even Ethereum based or proof of stake companies that are encouraging people to start running their own nodes, start running and that's been a big push during the bear market, is to put more of the onus on the users to run their own stuff, basically run their own nodes, run their own validators, run all that stuff, because I think a lot of them kind of see the writing on the wall when it comes to cloud platforms. Like without divulging too much information, I can confirm that a lot of companies are moving out to other clouds, like Tencent Cloud, and moving out to Alibaba Cloud, which granted it's China, those are all Chinese clouds, but it's nice to see them not all in GCP or all in AWS or all in Microsoft Azure. They're diversifying as much as they can until the user base kind of figures this out. It's like, oh shit, we should probably run our own stuff and buy our own hardware and stuff like that. So companies are incentivizing, Web3 companies specifically are incentivizing you to run your own infrastructure, and they're giving you the tools to do it. Some of them are, not all of them. Most of them are rug tokens, but the ones that are serious about it are giving you the tools to be able to here, this is our stuff, go build your own thing with it, which I think is really cool. And a lot of people haven't noticed yet because, again, it's the bear market, because they kind of saw what the end of the bull market did, with Terra Luna going nuts and basically everything being a giant rug. and that kind of woke a lot of the companies that are still alive, like, hey, dude, we need to like decentralize this a lot more. Because I mean, especially after ETH 2.0, I mean, they could definitely see the writing on the wall. So there's like, yeah, we kind of need to do that decentralization thing that Bitcoin's been doing since 2009. So,
yup. Spark says, doesn't Saudi Aramco still have its own giant cloud infrastructure? Do they?
Yeah. There's a lot in Asia in general. It's just you don't hear about it in the U.S. because Asian countries are bad. You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Alibaba Cloud equals communist cloud trademark. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're gonna say. But I don't know.
It's an option though. You'd be surprised at what Alibaba Cloud allows that AWS doesn't.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. Like, you'd be surprised how communistic, how less communistic some things are on that side of the world, and then if you compare them to how things are over here, you start to question, like, wait a second, I thought we weren't the communists.
Exactly. Right? Wait, are we the bad guys?
Wait a second. Fuck. Oh no. All right, guys. Well, I mean, that's our take on the situation. I guess we'll do another stream again on it if anything like comes to fruition. And grows on it. But to me, I think this is something that, like, the more we can talk about it and spread the word, you know, the more people are going to be notified. And I mean, I'm making the assumption that people are going to see that and be like, "Yo, dude, what the fuck?" Like,
yeah. No. But, you know, by the time the average Joe sees it, it's going to be too late. You know, it's already implemented everywhere. Well, that's why you got to, like, you know, plead to the tech crowd of this scene and be like, hey, there's bad shit happening, and you should keep your eyes on this.
Yeah.
Act accordingly.
All right, Cody. You guys, you want to tell them where to reach you at, as always?
Indeed. You can reach me on my YouTube channel, Cloudology, where I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I just taught you how to build your own Minecraft server, which that's kind of going to be a series that we're going to expand on. Essentially, the point of that whole thing was to show how a production environment kind of develops over time. So, like, we're going to add a bunch of nerdy cloud shit like logging, monitoring, alerting, you know, automation, stuff like that. So the stuff you would do as like an SRE DevOps engineer kind of thing. So
are you going to play Minecraft too after it's finished?
I might. Well, I mean, the whole reason I did this video is because I wanted my own Minecraft server.
Dude, yeah, I've never played Minecraft before. I kind of want to.
What? You've never played Minecraft before? All right. Well,
just watch the YouTube videos. That's it. That's all I've done.
Well, we'll get you set up with one, dude.
Let's do it, dude. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, guys. He's tagged in the title. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the conversation. Yeah, dude. Chris should have plays Minecraft. Sparks is a good game. Hey, I mean, I know it's like it's like the largest game, right? Like,
it's like the one thing that's never changed. The Minecraft has stayed consistent throughout like everything, and that's why I keep going back to it, dude. Because it's just like good old Minecraft, dude. You know, no pay to win bullshit, none of that.
Yeah. As for me, guys, same as always, developerdirection.com. We're actually going to do a .NET bootcamp because, well, .NET's where the money's at. So we're going to be doing that in the next 4 weeks. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.